Shrinking Granny. Today is the end of day 6. I just finished having my last of my Optifast for day 6. Tomorrow's the last of week 1, and starting Canada Day, which is Wednesday, I will be starting on week 2. And then I'm on to my surgery date, and yeah, so far everything has been, okay. I had a couple of days where I was kind of feeling dragged out and tired, but for those 2 days, it was like pouring rain outside, and we had thunderstorms, and it was just gray and yucky out, so I think that might have had something to do with it as well. I have been journaling to keep my mind off of things, so this is how I've set things out. I'll just try to get my page turned over here. How I set things out. I have at the top of my page date, time, main liquids, Optifast, and then broth and vegetables. And I have been keeping track of everything. And then down here underneath, I'm writing how I feel, if anything has changed, what kind of anxieties do I have coming up to surgery, that kind of thing. I have been not really worried about the surgery kind of thing. It's the travel. I'm more worried about if they set my surgery time to like 9 a.m. We have to get up at 4 to get there, because we end up having to take we're taking the transit, and we have to take 3 buses and a subway train to get to there, and it's about 3.5 hours to get there, 3.5 hours to get back. Now, that's fine and dandy. If they make my time for 9 a.m., that's great, because we can get on the 5 a.m. bus and be there for right on time. But we have to be there 2 hours early, 2 hours before my time. So I'm not sure how we're going to do this. We might end up having to take the train, the GO train from Oshawa to Toronto, which will cost us a little bit more. We're going to have to check into that, because if they set my surgery time for 9 a.m. and we got to be there for 7, Oshawa Transit doesn't start running until 6 a.m. So there will be a slight issue there. We won't get there in time. So we're going to have to do some research, figure out the best way to do it. If you're looking into doing this surgery and you have to take transit or you have to commute from somewhere, like we met a lady there when I was doing my pre-screening who was coming all the way in from Kingston to do, and her surgery day is the same day as mine. Fortunately, she drives, so she can get on the road at any time. But if you have to take transit, and I don't know if you come from out of town, if you're willing to pay the parking and everything else, that's one thing. But even if I did drive, I think I would take transit, because the parking would get expensive, considering over the last year how many times we've had to go up there for appointments and stuff like that have been over an hour. My last appointment was 4.5 hours. And then we had to go get the Optifast. And if I was driving, I don't think I could have been able to handle it. Not only was it hot, the traffic in Toronto is horrendous. It was just the day after we had a major storm here in Ontario, and they had flooding. So we were actually concerned that the subways, some of the subway tunnels had been shut down because of flooding in the subway tunnels. And we were concerned that we weren't going to we would have to wait for a commuter bus, which would have taken us another 1.5 hours out of our way. Fortunately, they had the subways up and running before we even got there, so it wasn't an issue. But I think driving, considering stuff like that happens, especially this time of year, would make driving a lot more difficult and make the roads a lot more congested. So, you know, I would suggest if you're planning to do this and you're at the point where you're going to be going to, if you're in Ontario and you're going to Toronto or one of the major cities to do it, if you don't live in that town and you have to drive, map out your route beforehand. Like, we usually did it a couple days before or the week before, mapped it out so we knew exactly what we were doing the day of and what time we had to be there. Yeah, so as I said, tomorrow is my last day of the first week of my Optifast. I've also got a whole bunch of running around because tomorrow I have my pay coming and I have groceries to get and bills to pay because it's the beginning of the month and the first is a holiday here in Canada. So I am off to bed. It's after 10 p.m. and yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. I will come to you tomorrow with another update and let you know how hectic my day was. Have a great night, everybody.